In a little while, I'll talk with the Sun's peerless TV critic, Ali Ross, and we'll get the latest news from the royal scene from Charlie Ray. But now let's go straight over to my star guest, Ricky Gervais. Hi, Ricky.
Hello, how's it going?
Very well, thanks, mate. So I watched your live stream thing last night. Thanks for the name check. And you pointed out, because you got your new series of Afterlife coming out, that probably the best way to watch it isn't in one block. But I'm afraid I did on Thursday night. I started watching it, and it is kind of difficult to turn off. So I watched all 6 episodes. Great stuff. Really interesting TV. Well worth everybody tuning into. I love the first series. Second series equally as good. It's a series about grief and loss, basically, not necessarily the best subject for humour, but it's at times hysterically funny and at other times very, very emotional. But I'm fascinated with the role of the dog, which is called Brandy in the series and I think Auntie in real life.
Right, yeah.
Now, clearly, for your character, Tony, Brandy is crucial to his survival, in a way.
Well, I think both metaphorically and literally, she saved his life, which I think is true, you know. I mean, it started off as a bit of a joke, and even the fact that it's about grief, it was never meant to be a study in grief. It was a jumping off point. So usually with sitcom, the character comes first. You know, I had David Brent before The Office, I had Derek before Derek, and then you find a place for it.
Yep.
You know? But here, it rather like a movie, the concept came first. So the first seed in my head was, imagine if you were going to kill yourself and you didn't. Everything else would be a bonus. You'd be... nothing could scare you. You could do anything. And if life got too much, you can always fall back on suicide. And the joke was, it was like a superpower. That was the concept. The next thing I thought of was, well, what's the worst thing? For me, it was losing your soulmate, your life partner. So that was settled. And then the next thing was, why didn't he kill himself? Because the dog was hungry. Which is both comedic, but I think very, very real as well. And so all that came to my head in like the first 2 minutes, like the Big Bang. And then you write it, and then it becomes a study in grief, because it's a character trait really for him, because we know what he used to be like. Then I thought of she leaves him a message, now we see his life. And what I found was that people let Tony get away with stuff because he was in pain. It was like a wounded animal. Yep. So all his friends and the audience, you know, let him go through all these terrible things he does and thinks, right? Because we know he's wounded and he's not thinking straight, and he's searching for something, like we all are. We just want to be happy. Okay, that's all we want. We just want to be happy until we die. And he's going through the 7 stages of grief. So we hit the ground running with series 1, where it's, you know, shock, anger, denial, and now he's going through negotiating phase. He's saying to the world, okay, why should I stay around? What should I do? How can I find happiness? And he sort of decides, well, maybe it's about sharing, it's about giving back. You know, the old lady in the graveyard, that was the kindness of strangers. You know,
yes.
She's his guardian angel, and we all need someone like her, you know. So he's starting thinking about stuff, really. And the big question, the big question the whole series asked, if you could reduce it down to one thing, is this: if you lose everything, is life still worth living? And how? That's it. And
the dog, right? I don't know if you agree with this. I know you're a great dog lover. So am I. I think they've got a kind of emotional intelligence. That they do understand when you're upset, when things aren't right, and they can be a great comfort. And the fact, sure, you've got to look after them, but also there's something about their presence that's extremely beneficial, I think.
Well, there's unconditional love. You know, there's all those little sayings like the dog is the only animal that loves you more than it loves itself. You know, it's they're amazing creatures for me. I go for walks. Luckily, I can still go for a walk every day. And before the lockdown, I used to go maybe twice, wherever I was, in London or New York, Central Park or Hampstead Heath, just to meet dogs. I got to know them, and I got to know, and it was like my heroin. If I'd scruffled 10 dogs by 9:30, I was set up for the day. It really was. It really is a medicine to me, and I mean that quite literally. They make you feel better. If I see a dog, a happy dog, I'm happy. It's infectious.
Yeah.
We just went out for a walk, and I saw a husky puppy meet a Labrador puppy, and they were playing, and I was just smiling. I was just laughing. They make you feel better, and particularly another theme to the show is it's important to be needed, and so the dog needs him. Again, I do it sometimes in joke form, where he says to the dog, "If you could open a tin, I'd be dead by now." And I keep reminding people that the dog is a big reason to stay alive and try and enjoy life. And I'd put it up there. I'd put it up there in my top 10 things why it's worth being alive.
I agree with you. I went on the set once of that sitcom Frasier. I don't know if you ever watched it, but Kelsey Grammer's character, Fraser Crane, hated the dog, his dad's dog called Eddie. So we saw a scene being filmed, and they were sort of shouting, he's growling at Dr. Crane, and Fraser's going, "Get out of here!" And then the scene ended, and the moment the scene ended, the dog in real life was called Moose. The dog leapt into Kelsey Grammer's arms, and they fell on the floor and started rolling around laughing. And the dog actually, while playing a dog that hated Fraser Crane, absolutely loved Kelsey Grammer, and Kelsey Grammer loved the dog.
That's acting.
And is Auntie a good actor? Well, it looks pretty good to me.
She's fantastic. I want to do a compilation of all the times before and after takes where I'm just going, "Good girl, you're such a good girl. You're such a good girl." And you can, even if I'm distant, we're mic'd up. So when I play it back in the edit, it's just me going, "You're such a good girl." Right? And sometimes she gets overwhelmed, and there's an outtake.
I saw that, yes.
Where she just starts licking my face, and I have to stop. But it's so funny. And there's also quite a few where when someone says cut, she leaves the scene. Often she takes a shortcut across my testicles, and she's got massive paws. And honestly, it's just a mistake, but it's. I go, "Oh, medic."
Yeah, they don't kind of tend to observe those niceties, don't they? I'll tell you what's been making me laugh during this lockdown. So I've got a little spaniel, and I take him out on Hampstead Heath, up each other's backsides, and the owners are standing back 20 feet, while their dogs really get involved. So they're not really kind of getting this coronavirus thing, the dogs on.
I'm sort of more respectful now. Usually I just scruffle a dog, but now I just sort of, we have to stay apart, and the dog comes over, and I feel really bad because, I think it's totally safe. A dog cannot catch it, but, if I touch the collar or something, I'll spray my hand after, but I can't wait for this to be over so I can, just roll around with the dog. And I think the dogs are going, "Why isn't everyone scruffling?"
Exactly.
Why are they walking so far away? I know.
But I'll tell you what, my dog, and I'm sure lots of other dogs, he's loving the lockdown because we never leave him. So we never go out at night.
I thought about that. They're just bouncing around going, "Mum and Dad are home all day." They're home
They love it. It's like their ships come home. Do you not have a dog because you have to go to America or a lot?
Well, it's two reasons, but I'm gonna probably break my own rules. First of all, we didn't have a dog because we had a cat and it was very old.
Yeah.
And it died last month, 16 and a half. So we're going to get, we might get one of each. I'm waiting for all this to be over and to finish my tour. And we might rescue a cat and a dog. But I do feel bad if I have to travel too much because, I mean, with a cat, you know, someone comes in, they house sit, the cat goes, yeah, whatever, 3 meals a day, whatever. But a dog, I can't stand the dog going, what have I done? When I was a kid and we used to go on holiday and my dad used to sort of dog sit, when we got back from, it was only Bognor, but the dog didn't know that, the dog used to pretend to be lame. The dog used to come out with like a bad paw. And the first couple of times, my mum took it to the vet. And he went, no, there's nothing wrong with it. So the dog would go, poorly, you can't leave me ever again. They're amazing. They're just amazing.
Yeah, they can be pretty sly sometimes. So the new series of Afterlife starts on Netflix when?
24th. So next Friday at 8 a.m. UK time. I think everything's geared to LA time. So it's midnight on Thursday night, LA. So 8 a.m. UK next Friday. The complete 6 all drop at once. And it is, I mean, it's made to be watched, binge watched. But I was just thinking, if you blow it all in one night, you know, I like to savour these things. And sometimes I've binge watched things. Like I've been watching documentaries recently. I watched Tiger King last week, and I can't say that word, don't F with cats. I sometimes, it's like a never-ending well. There's always, I always find something. I've loved Sunderland Till I Die.
Oh, that's a great series.
It's great, and I'm not a big football fan by any means, but it's a good documentary is a good documentary about any subject. One of my favourite documentaries was about the sommelier test. Now, I have no interest in that at all, but it was such a great documentary about the hardest test in the world to become a sommelier and wine tasting.
Yep.
And it's captivating. And when a documentary is done well, it blows fiction away because it's got another level, and that's the aim of fiction. I once heard a definition of art is to try and emulate the perfection of nature. And I think fiction it tries to emulate the drama of real life. There's just nothing like it.
Talking of real life, I can't let you go without getting your thoughts on some of your fellow celebrities who've been sobbing in the lockdown, trapped in their mansions with swimming pools.
I'm not gonna point the finger or slag anyone off. And I think I was in the paper, and
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
they tried to guess who I was talking about, but really I was talking about me. All I was saying was, you won't hear me complain. You won't hear me complain when there's nurses doing 14-hour shifts, and not just nurses, cleaners, porters, key workers. And I said, you're not going to hear me complain. A celebrity with a garden in a big house, you won't hear me complain. But, you know, if the shoe fits, then... But, yeah, it is embarrassing. It's embarrassing anyway when celebrities moan about anything. I want to go, you've already got everything. Stop it. Why are you doing this? I don't know what... Some people think that some celebrities just want to be loved, so they think, I know, I'll make them feel sorry for me. It doesn't work, because people at home go, why am I going to feel sorry for this multi-millionaire when I can't pay the rent? But
this multi-millionaire in their hot tub and in their mansion, in the country. It's really annoying.
But before I go, I'd just like to sing Imagine to you.
Okay, I think that'd be nice.
One thing that can cheer people up. Yeah.
I think, Ricky, rather than listen to you play Imagine, I'm going to have to cut you off because that's a terrible prospect. Who wants to hear that? Anyway.
I know. It was such a dreadful... Yeah, the worst thing about that was, okay, it was awful. It was an awful of a song, but it was more that certain of them, you could see in their eyes, they were thinking, oh my God, I'm such a good person for even doing this. I could cry at what a beautiful soul I have. And I hope people notice.
I know it's a cliche now, but it's like virtue signalling central, isn't it? I mean, just give it up.
God, I know. And then we don't even need to get into hypocrisy, which is that people, when I see, multi-millionaires lecturing the general public about recycling, and they got to their award show in a private jet followed by a limo, and I want to go, no, you can't tell people to clean out their coffee jar and put it in the right bin.
I know. Celebrities, eh? Listen, Ricky, it's been fantastic talking to you. I wish you all the best with Afterlife, which I heartily recommend everybody watches. It's great television. Thanks, Ricky. That's Ricky Gervais. When we come back, we're going to be talking telly with the Sun's incomparable Ali Ross.